Good afternoon, Musketeers. It's February 19th, 2016. I'm Nick Bergman.
And I'm Hannah Michaels. This is Xavier News.
From the Xavier University Television Studio, this is Xavier News. Your campus, your region, your world. This is Xavier News.
Sad news out of Monroeville, Alabama this morning as legendary writer Harper Lee has died at the age of 89. Lee's 1960 novel To Kill a Mockingbird is one of the most widely read and taught books in America, which won her the Pulitzer Prize for Fiction in 1960 and was adapted into a classic film in 1962, starring Gregory Peck as Atticus Finch. The novel focuses on injustice, racism, redemption, and growing up through the eyes of a young girl in a small Alabama town in the 1930s. For years, To Kill a Mockingbird was Lee's only published novel until the surprise publishing of a sequel entitled Go Set a Watchman last year, which Lee actually wrote before To Kill a Mockingbird in 1959. The novel failed to live up to the reputation of To Kill a Mockingbird and received mixed reviews. Lee mostly lived a quiet life in her small Alabama hometown after the publishing of To Kill a Mockingbird. Though she chose to live away from the spotlight, the massive influence of her single novel spread across America for generations. A 1991 Library of Congress survey on books even found that the books that most affected people's lives reported that To Kill a Mockingbird came second only to the Bible.
A deadly explosion struck Ankara on Wednesday night, resulting in 28 casualties and 61 injured. The blast in Turkey's capital occurred at a street intersection between Parliament and military headquarters. 3 military vehicles and 1 private vehicle were stopped at a traffic light when the bomb was detonated. Governor of Ankara, Mehmet Kılıçdaroğlu, believes that source of the blast was from a bomb-laden vehicle. The cause of the explosion is still unclear, though Deputy Prime Minister Bekir Bozdağ calls it, quote, an act of terrorism, end quote. Potential suspects include ISIS and the PKK. The PKK, or Kurdistan Workers' Party, is a group of militant separatists considered to be a terrorist group by Turkey. This is the 4th attack Turkey has suffered in the past 8 months. Xavier Student Government Association has long been active in promoting student activism, but the new administration is making it a special priority. Here's Lucy Purcell with the story.
Student Government Association meets from 3 to 5 every Monday discussing many important issues on Xavier's campus. I sat in on their meeting and then later met with President Caleb Mickler and Legislative Vice President Kiana Salazar to discuss in more detail about one specific social issue, social activism.
Activism is a very important issue. I think the concern of the matter is it's how to initiate it, especially on our climate, because, for instance, like, we're not Missouri, or we're not this big institution where racism has been so upright and apparent. It's been more so, I don't know, like passive aggressive. So it's like how to call people out on that and not just be an innocent bystander. I think it's hard for us to really be bold or courageous in a sense, but in the twofold of that, it's like, why is it hard for us to stand up for what should be right? It's like everything should be fair and equitable for everyone.
Of a culture of like being sedentary on campus right now, especially with activism. A lot of people just think that they should just sit by because they're not really sure if they should get involved or anything like that. And also I think it's a big issue, especially for a Jesuit campus, for us to integrate social justice, because that's the whole basis of Jesuit education. It started with the Salvadoran martyrs and everything that was going on in El Salvador and Central America with their civil war. And so people want to just become educated about that. And it was actually Father Pedro Arrupe who started the phrase men and women for others, and that is the basis of our entire Jesuit education, especially at Xavier. So I think a big part of getting people involved in social activism is definitely education, educating people on what the issues are, what really is plaguing our country, and like what are the ins and outs of it, like both sides of the issue, like who are the naysayers and things like that, and just making sure that everyone knows what the issue is and how to go about approaching it in a way that won't turn people off.
I think definitely BSA is a club, or university affiliate organization that raises awareness. Also, SGA, Student Government Association, and Student Activities Council, I believe those strong organizations on our campus can raise awareness, and we need more representation of various group demographics so we can have different input and different voices so we can actually hear the concerns that are addressed and make this campus like a greater one for everyone.
For Xavier News, this is Lucy Purcell.
Xavier Theater opens 3 new plays this week, which will continue over the weekend and into next week. Modeled after the style of repertory theater, the 3 shows run in rotation for 2 weeks. Betrayal by Harold Pinter premiered Wednesday, Miss Julie by August Strindberg premiered Thursday, and Begotten by Xavier Sr. Tatum Hunter premieres tonight. Begotten will be the first student-written play that Xavier's new theater department has ever produced. After the premieres, they will begin to rotate their runs, which gives audiences plenty of opportunities to attend over 4 performances. Repertory theater may not be an original concept, but this is a first for the new Xavier Theater Department. Tickets are still available for the shows. For more information, visit xavier.edu/theater.
Cincinnati Zoo welcomed its newest addition to their family on Wednesday, a baby potto. Pottos are nocturnal tree dwellers found in African rainforests. The 2-month-old baby potto is hard to spot, but photos show the new baby hanging onto its mother's underbelly. The new zoo baby's name is Otto the potto. Mike Delaney, curator of mammals at the zoo, tells Cincinnati Enquirer, quote, "It was about the size of a human thumb when it was born and also the same color as the mom's chest, which is where Otto can be found most of the time," end quote. Otto's gender still remains unknown as its keepers haven't been able to separate it from its mother, Mosi. Cincinnati Zoo Director Thane Maynard weighed in saying, quote, "Otto is a good name whether it's male or female. We chose the name to honor former board chairman and longtime zoo supporter Otto M. Budig Jr., end quote. Otto will be easier to spot in the coming weeks as it begins to change color and move to Mosi's back. Students know well that college comes with costs, but the rising cost of textbooks may be hitting students a little harder in the wallet. Reporter Nick Gray brings us the story.
This is the Xavier University bookstore. Each year, Xavier students return to school to find that the books they need to use for class are expensive and hard to obtain. What's wrong with the current textbook market and system? Jake Cirasillo, a junior, student athlete and biology student, gives us some insight.
Oh boy. Well, assuming I buy all my books, I probably spend between $600 and $800 a semester.
Since 1977, textbook prices have risen over 1,000%. That's 3 times the rate of inflation for the market. That being said, the average student will spend around $1,500 each semester on books and supplies. Evan Langtote, a freshman, explains.
I feel like it's quite ridiculous. I mean, here we are as college students paying for tuition, paying for room and board, paying for meals and everything, while now we have to pay for books too, and the book prices aren't cheap.
It's just silly. I mean, we already pay way too much money to go to school anyways, that it's kind of ridiculous that book prices have gone up it just adds on to more costs. And I'm sure there's a reason with it, with companies and stuff, but it's ridiculous.
Publishers have stated that it takes $3 million, 200 scholars, and 7,000 hours to research and write a whole textbook. But Jake has a different opinion.
That's an overstatement.
Really?
Yeah, I'm helping someone publish a textbook right now, and we have 3 people working on it, so, and it's supposed to be an organic chemistry textbook, so I don't believe that.
Today, most students try to find an alternative to buying books. Some options include sharing, and more popular is renting books.
I had a book this semester that cost $300, but luckily I found it being able to rent it for $40 online, and that was the best part about it. I mean, just finding a cheap price is just hard to do, and when you do it, it's much better than the $300 that you could have paid.
But I feel like all the textbooks have pretty much the same information. So there's only so much you can put in a textbook.
The cheapest item in the whole bookstore? Well, that's your standard blue book for 35 cents. Reporting for Xavier News, this is Nick Gray.
The Cincinnati Ballet will present Wild Sweet Love on March 18th and 19th. Xavier students and faculty can receive 20% off of standard price tickets. Wild Sweet Love is a triple collaboration choreographed by Trey McIntyre, George Ballachine, and Edward Liang. Ticket prices start at $32 before the discount.
Recent reports suggest that France is expected to give all workers the right to disconnect from work emails. The standard work week in France is 35 hours instead of the 40-hour work week that Americans work, and is concerned with employee burnout outside of the office. Bruno Metling, director of the mobile phone company Orange, says people who find the correct balance between their professional and personal life experience far better job performance than those who do not. The new proposal will be voted on in the coming week.
In a clash of national powers, the FBI recently ordered Apple to create software to hack into its own devices for the San Bernardino terror probe because the FBI has been unable to hack into an iPhone 5C used by one of the shooters. Apple CEO Tim Cook says obeying that order would set a dangerous precedent. The FBI has filed a court order, but Apple plans to file an opposition to the order. That's all from the news desk. Stay with us for Paul Fritschner with the Xavier Sports Report.
Hello again, Musketeer fans, and welcome to the Xavier Sports Report. I'm Paul Fritschner. We may still have some winter ahead, but that isn't going to stop Xavier's baseball team from getting their season underway. The Musketeers are currently enjoying the upper 70s in Tempe, Arizona, as they prepare for their opening game against the Arizona State Sun Devils. Senior shortstop Andre Jernigan and fellow senior Dan Rizzi, the catcher, were both selected to the preseason All-Big East team. The two will look to get their team back to their winning ways of 2014 when they won the Big East Championship and went to the NCAA tournament after hitting a roadblock in 2015. Xavier will play road games in warm climates until March 16th when they open their home slate at Hayden Field against the local Miami Redhawks. During their road trip, the team will face the Vanderbilt Commodores, who've been to the final of the College World Series the last 2 seasons. Former Xavier men's soccer players Dallas J. and Luke Spencer signed contracts Monday to play professionally for FC Cincinnati of the United States Soccer League in the team's first season. Jay, a goalkeeper, played this past season for Xavier and allowed only 9 goals all season. His .830 save percentage was 13th in the nation. Spencer last played for the Musketeers in 2012 and was the first Xavier player taken in the MLS draft. He scored 29 goals in his career for Xavier and earned 79 points, good for 3rd on Xavier's all-time list. The women's basketball team suffered defeats at the hands of number 23 DePaul and Marquette since last Friday, but the team will look to rebound with 2 home games this weekend. Tonight, the Musketeers will take on St. John's at 7 p.m. in Cintas. Then on Sunday at 2, the team will look to celebrate the careers of seniors Brianna Glover, Jenna Crittenden, and Aaliyah Zant as they play their final home game. Come to Cintas for the game before the 2 p.m. tip-off to show your appreciation for the work these 3 have done for the team over the years. Miles Davis was the headline for the men's basketball game against number 23 Providence on Wednesday night as he joined legends David West and Tu Holloway as the only Xavier players ever to record triple-doubles in a game. Davis's 11 points, 12 rebounds, and 12 assists powered the number 7 Musketeers to an 85-74 victory, ensuring the regular season sweep of the Friars. It was Xavier's first triple-double since Holloway dropped 26 points, along with 11 rebounds and 10 assists on February 19, 2011. Davis's 12 assists were also a career high. Xavier moved to 5-1 against ranked teams, the best record in the nation, along with being undefeated at home against ranked teams. Providence coach Ed Cooley said in his post-game press conference, quote, I would love to see these guys in the Big East tournament at Madison Square Garden, end quote. Be careful what you wish for, Coach Cooley. Xavier's picked apart your Friars in both meetings this year. But hey, I guess in a third game, anything could happen, right? The next two games will be statement games for Xavier, ones that will show their true mettle. They get a chance to avenge their only home loss in a matchup against the Georgetown Hoyas tomorrow at noon in Washington, D.C. Georgetown will be looking to resurrect a lackluster season and add another statement victory to their tournament resume. Then, next Wednesday, Ryan Archidiacono and the #1 Villanova Wildcats will make their way here into the Cintas Center for what could possibly be the biggest game in Cintas Center history. Xavier's 0-6 against the Wildcats since joining the Big East, and the Musketeers are looking to prove to their doubters that they're for real, that they can hang with and beat the best teams in the nation. They also want to show Villanova who they are at full strength, since the last time these two teams met, star freshman Edmund Sumner was lost to a disastrous injury less than 3 minutes into the game. The Georgetown game tomorrow can be seen on Fox National, and if you won't be making noise in Cintas on Wednesday, you can watch the Villanova game on Fox Sports 1. Enjoy the nice weather this weekend and get those vocal cords ready for Wednesday night so you can cheer Let's Go X. From everyone at the studio, thanks for tuning in. I'm Paul Fritchner, and we'll see you right here next week.
This is Xavier News.